Hey, 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 Mom Nation, and welcome back to another episode of Live and Learn. I am super stoked because we have Malka back, the organized fairy, the one that we all want to hear the wisdom from because we're all dealing with households and we all have clutter and we all have toys and we all have stuff. So, Malka, this is so well timed because of the upcoming holidays, and we're going to start thinking about doing what now parties, inviting people over for dinners, hosting Christmas, maybe hosting Thanksgiving, hosting whatever holiday it is that is in our tradition. Now is the time. And we're all looking at our piles of clutter like, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming. So, how do we attack it, Malka? Let's dive right in.
Yeah. So I want to avoid all things from picking it up and throwing it in a closet or throwing it in another room because we just know you're going to have to deal with it later. So I like to start with the entrance area. I think that's such a great place to start. That's the first place where we walk into our home, where our guests come in, and that's the first impression, right? So start sometimes in the front of the home. There could be an accumulation of, now the weather is getting a little chillier. Maybe we have some sweaters and jackets. Make sure they're back in the place where they belong. Our shoes are, coming into a living room. There could be an accumulation of books or magazines or things like that. So I kind of like to start tackling that area, maybe the area that we're even hosting, right? If we're hosting dinners or things like that, or brunches, let's clear off that dining room table and even set it up so we start to feel like we're in the mode, right? Get it set for the holiday and work our way from there a little bit every day. It doesn't have to be a lot. Put on a timer, put on some music, open the windows, get some fresh air. We're in Arizona. We have beautiful fresh air. And it really helps us get in the mode. And I think the most important thing of all is don't feel like this is on you. This is use your family or your family. We all live in the same space, right? So we all have to contribute to the home looking and feeling amazing. So bringing your family on board and giving everyone age appropriate tasks to help you along in this is so, so, so important.
I love that. And I totally agree with you. And I love the advice of starting where you first walk in, because oftentimes I feel like that's the big question, right? Is, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. I don't even know where to start.
Where to start. Exactly.
Yeah. So having a place to start is really helpful. But
Yeah.
before that happens, do you have any advice on the more emotional level, the more personal level, on how moms can maybe shift from feeling that shame that we often feel because we've allowed some things to sort of add up, to feeling more empowered about creating that space for their family?
Yeah. So, I feel like as an American culture, we've kind of turned into, we're really big consumers. We have things that we can order. We have Amazon, we have Walmart, we have Instacart, we have all these ways of ordering things and getting what we need quickly. And there's so much benefit. It creates ease in our lives. But we also have to know that we need to let go of things as fast as we bring them in, because otherwise that's when it accumulates and it feels overwhelming. So I think just giving ourselves some grace. It's okay. We live and we learn. We find new things. We find things that are inspiring us, and then we can adapt them into our life. And we don't have to feel bad about it. We can just take that information, work with it, and then change what needs to be changed and move on from there. Shame is only holding us back. Guilt is not helping us move forward. So as long as we're trying to really make the change, then I think it's okay to just let go of that shame and guilt, not helping us.
Yeah, totally agree. Kind of like an it is what it is attitude. Let's move forward from here is
Yes.
sort of what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Yeah, that feels empowering just saying that, doesn't it?
I think so. Yeah. And, as moms, we really have a lot on our plate. We're not just moms. We're not just wives. We're doing so many things all the time, between cooking and carpooling and getting the kids from place to place and appointments. And, you know, if someone is dealing with something medical in their life or whatever it is, there's so much that we hold on to, and we have to be there, not only for ourselves, but for so many other people in our lives. And so take that and accept that and see the beauty in that and be like, I am doing amazing. Because really, moms, you are doing amazing, you know? And so feel that and know that. And then we also are ever evolving. So know that we can change and adapt things in our lives as we feel we can.
Totally agree. Do you ever discuss with your clients, with moms, with the families that you work with, how to kind of get through the emotional side of letting go of the items that they're decluttering without feeling like they're throwing away pieces of themselves or their story? For example, I have a real problem with my kids' art projects, like getting rid of those. I have a real problem, and I have every single birthday and Christmas card that I have ever received in my entire life, I still have, just because I feel like I don't want to lose that moment. I don't want to let go of that memory. So, any advice for people like me?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought up those two examples, because I come across that a lot in clients' homes. And I feel like there's probably a lot of people that could relate to that as well.
Yeah.
So, yes, we are very intentional with how we guide our clients along in letting go of things that they can let go of. What I want to start with is that not everything can feel special and important. So let's say we start with a holiday or birthday cards, right? What your memory of the birthday, which I'm guessing you have pictures and things like that of people that attended. When people give a birthday card, a lot of times they're just writing dear and signing it. And it's just a generic birthday card that they're accompanying with a gift so that you know who gave the gift.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that there's anything emotional that really went into it. What I like to think about when I want to hold on to something is what is special, what is sticking out here. So maybe it's from a grandma or a mom or someone really close in your family that really took the time to write a letter about your relationship or this new milestone or something special. And that becomes something that I really want to hold on to that, right? I want to cherish that. I want to be able to go back to it. I actually had a client this week who told me that she gets rid of any previous birthday cards from her mom and only keeps the current one, like the last one that she received.
Oh, okay.
And I thought that that was an interesting twist. I don't know if that's something that I would do. I feel like there is something special, like in everything that you, in every, you know, when it's from, you know, like all the cards I got from my grandmother, who's no longer alive, feels so special to me right now because it's the message, it's her love, it's her handwriting. It's like, you know, and so that feels special to me. But I thought, like, you know, this is where different things are going to work for different people, and that's okay. But it's all about knowing what's special to you. And I feel like for you, Katie, if you were to go through those cards now, you would have an easier time letting go of the ones, like just having some sort of structure of, I'm not keeping the ones that are just a generic message and it's nothing personal, right? Yeah. So when it's something personal and when it's something that we really want to cherish and hold on to, that just helps us lessen the load. So are you going to go through all those cards when you have 200 of them to look through? Probably not. But if you can look through them now one last time and choose the ones that you love and put them in your special memory box of all different types of memories, but you also have these cards, then probably you'll look through them when you have 10 of them to look through. True. Right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. When it comes to, I want to address the kids' artwork because I know that's a big one.
Huge.
I actually have these memory boxes that I create for my clients. I have them for my children as well. And what it is basically, you could get it on Walmart. It's a bin that's the size of, it's basically a file bin.
Mm-hmm.
And I put files in there for each grade that my child is in or will go through. So it's from preschool through high school. And as they bring things home and it's something I want to save, so maybe it's a special note from the teacher, maybe it's a special project that they did, we want to save, or as they get older, their tests. When they're younger, it's a lot of artwork that the kids get home with. And so I feel like for the moms of preschoolers, this is really, really important. You do not need to save every single paper and piece of art that your kid comes home with. So something to think about it, like, how do I know what to keep and how do I know what to throw out, right? So kids come home either daily or weekly, I guess, depending on the school, with their special works of art, right? These little budding artists. I don't have this currently because I have more of like a range of children, and most of them, I only have one preschooler. So it's a little bit different now. But what I did have when I had 3, younger children was I would literally, it's so simple. You get twine and you pin it into the wall. So you have kind of like this like display place, maybe in the kitchen, maybe in the playroom, wherever it makes sense in your home. And you take clothespins and you hang them up and you display them.
Cute.
For a week. The expiration date is very important. And when they come home with new things, we very carefully take down the other ones. And if it's something you want to keep, you put it in their memory bin. And if it's something you want to let go of, you hide the evidence very, very carefully. Okay. That's key here.
That is
hide
key.
The evidence. And then you have your system for what you want to save and what you're going to let go of.
I love that. And I love the box idea because it sounds like that's easy to store in a closet or, in some sort of storage area versus I just picture like things falling out. Yeah. Yeah.
And It's just packed together and it's by grade. So it's kind of fun. Like the kids go back to when they were 2 and 3 and 4 and what they did in first and second grade. And we usually do it at the end of the year. We kind of will accumulate what it is throughout that year. And then when we're putting away school supplies at the end of the year and all that stuff, that's when we kind of put it away. So it's also fine. It's not something you have to do consistently. Like, okay, now it's time to pull out the box every week or every month. Like, no, it's okay to have your pile of what you have for your kid and then, put it away at the end of the year. So it doesn't feel like it's another task you always have to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you put your extra, because I have a ton of these, I seem to buy the biggest package for school pictures and like I don't have that much family to give it out to.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I have my picture that I like to have of him displayed, every year I change that out, whatever. So I keep mine out, but then I have all these extras. So would you suggest putting extra school pics in there too? I mean, it would make sense.
You can. It would make sense to do that. Yeah, mm-hmm. I think that's a great idea. And I think even just rethinking just something simple like that, of like just being a little bit more intentional with like when I'm buying the school picture, which package am I buying? Yeah. I literally for years, because the packages come, they're like big packages mm-hmm. and you get all these different sizes. And do I really need all of those? I guess the school came up with like, you can actually just buy one singular picture. And even though it's like $20 for that one 5x7, but that happens to be the size of the pictures that I put in that frame where their school pictures are. So it works for me. I don't need to hand them out. My family doesn't live nearby. So it's like shipping it out and it's another thing. And I know I'm not really going to do it, but we want to have it. So we get that one picture and it's fine and it's great and it works, Yeah,
absolutely. I'm looking at a package right now. I'm kind of.
Oh yeah? Did you do school pictures recently?
Yeah, well, they came in a couple of weeks ago and I'm like, I got to cut them up and
okay.
Holidays are coming, so I've got to pass out the ones I pass out, but then I have a whole sheet of other
Yeah.
items that I don't use.
Yeah.
But anyway, lastly, what do you have a couple of tips for moms that maybe just want to obviously declutter because maybe things have kind of, gotten away from them a little bit, but how do we maintain this? How is this ongoing? How can we get into a routine so that it doesn't add up? Any tips
Yeah,
on that?
absolutely. So, you mentioned the word routine, and I think that's key here is when we make it a part of our lifestyle. It works for some people to do like a weekly reset of their home, and the whole family gets involved in that. And so that might be, usually that would be on a weekend, that might be a Saturday, that might be a Sunday where, we're doing the weekly shopping and we're bringing the groceries in. And so that's a time that we can really get the family involved and just kind of touch up every single space. The truth is that the way I do it a little differently. When I'm putting laundry away, that's a time that I like to touch up the kids' drawers because they're pulling their things out. And, however much we try to teach them, it's just not always going to stay the way we intend for it, which is okay because we're living and we're human and we're teaching our children how to do things. But I really putting it into your routine of how and when and what that looks like, having really like a reset at the end of the day. When your home is organized, it shouldn't take more than 10 minutes to reset your living room. The kids played, they're cleaning up after themselves. So if they're cleaning up after themselves, you're not putting their toys away, right? Maybe we're fluffing up the pillows on the couch and we're putting some books away, but all of that really should not take long. And in the kitchen, I think the kitchen is one of those spaces that could really, it could accumulate if we're not upkeeping it daily, because there's so much that happens. Obviously, there's meals, and when there's other people living with you, you're not the only one putting things away or taking things out. But again, when it's organized and everything has a place, putting things away, unloading the dishwasher, washing the dishes that are in the sink, if we could think of how we want our space to look when we walk into the kitchen the next morning, that is a pretty big motivator to spend that 10 minutes in the evening, even when we're so tired and knocked out and all we want to do is curl up on the couch or get into bed. That usually is what pushes me to get it done. And just, it makes a difference to me how I walk into my kitchen. So.
Absolutely. Picking up laundry, doing these little things that just keep the house together. That's when it's like a reward. That's when I listen to this podcast I really love. So
that is such a good idea. Yeah. We have earbuds now. We have headphones. We have things that we could kind of like treat ourselves with, right? I like to do that when I'm folding laundry because that feels like a task that is not enjoyable for me. I think we discussed that on a previous podcast that you like folding laundry, right?
I love it. And I think it has to do with the podcast, Malka, because that's when I listen to it.
Right. Yeah. So if we like give ourselves that, like, like this is my time also. I'm zoning out. I'm just in the zone. I'm doing what I need to do and I'm making my way around the house. That is a great idea. I love that. And I'm sure will help some people looking for that kind of, tip.
Little boost. It gets me excited. I'm like, ooh, because Sunday is my laundry day. Okay. So I'm like, oh, it's Sunday. Cool. I have a couple loads of laundry. I get to get through, probably 2 episodes of my podcast doing that. And I get really excited. I don't know. Maybe it's weird.
Yeah. You know what? I think that's also like the tasks that we have to do around the house just feel really heavy and like I have to do this. And when we get into like, I get to do this, I think like, it's funny. I have a teenager now and I always I'm like at this stage, it does not last forever. When I was a teenager, I so badly wanted to be an adult. I wanted to run a house. I wanted to have children. I wanted to have errands to do. It seemed like so much fun. And now we're in it and it gets overwhelming and it's so much. But sometimes I just stop and think like, this is what I prayed for. This is what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm living this life and I'm so lucky. And so going back to your like idea of like listening to a podcast, even with my kids, like sometimes when it got really overwhelming with the toys and like we have to do a really big cleanup, we'll put on, each kid gets to choose a song that we listen to while we clean up, and we're racing to finish it. Because how long is a song already, right?
Right.
4 minutes. So if there's 3 of them that are responsible to clean up the toys, so in 15 minutes, the house is going to feel so much better. Putting on the music, literally like what I started off with, opening the windows, getting that fresh air going, bringing in the sunlight, like that just does something for us.
Agreed. Figure out a way to make it fun. Figure out a way to make it like you have the opportunity to reward yourself while you're doing it, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I just had the aha moment. Like I didn't even realize that's what I was doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Malka, we love having you on every single time you're here. We can't wait for you to come back so that we can dig into more household organizational tips and conversations. But until next time, how can our audience connect with you?
Absolutely. So I have a website. You can always contact me there. I'm very responsive. I have an Instagram, which I'm always updating with what's going on in the Organized Fairy projects coming up and things like that, and lots of tips. And you can follow me there at The Organized Fairy. And I forgot to say my website is theorganizedfairy.com. So that's
just Google The Organized Fairy and she's going to come up.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for being with us. And if you guys want to check out, you're so welcome. If you guys want to check out any of our previous episodes, including the ones that Malka's on, then hop on over to our YouTube channel. It is at Mom Nation USA. That's our handle. Scroll down just a little ways. You will see the bright red playlist. That's our Live and Learn playlist. That's where we learn tips like this, guys. If you prefer to listen podcast style, then over on your favorite podcast platform, like maybe you need to do some laundry, right?
I was just going to throw that in there.
Right? Like listen to us while you're doing that. That is Mom Nation Talk Radio. So just do a quick search for that and you will find us. Like, download, subscribe, all the things. You will never miss a beat. We'll see you next time, Malka.
Bye. Thank you.
Looking to buy or sell in Arizona's hottest neighborhoods? Meet Team Evo AZ, your Arizona real estate experts, driven by data, powered by passion. Meet Matthew Lambert and Katie Holly Lambert, the powerhouse duo behind Team Evo AZ at eXp Realty. With their talented team of agents, they're making Arizona real estate personal and powerful. Trusted, tenacious, Team Evo AZ. Team Evo AZ offers full-service real estate, powered by strategy, experience, heart, and a passion for helping people move forward. Ready to make your move? Visit www.evoaz.com and follow us on social media to connect with us.